Good afternoon to everyone and welcome to today's session. I would like to introduce today's presenter, Ms. Maitri Bhatt. She is an software developer in the Tata Consultancy Company, the TCS. Our today's session is on the frameworks of Java. So without wasting too much time, let me start. So Maitri ma'am, please can you start? Over to you ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. My screen is visible or not?
Yes ma'am, visible.
Okay, thank you. Hello, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Maitri, and my topic is frameworks of Java. Uh, you guys all, hello. You guys are aware about the Java, like,
स्क्रीन शेयरिंग स्टॉप हो गया
okay.
स्क्रीन शेयरिंग स्टॉप हो गया है
Now, is it visible?
यस
Okay. All guys are aware about the Java. It's not the new term. Java is very famous and very much, I can say, popular languages from the 2000 till present. It was it it was developed. It was developed by, or we can say that it was the I, it was invented by James Gosling, who was working in a Sun Microsystem in 1995. James Gosling and its green team, we can say the main persons from behind this is the James Gosling and Mike Sheridan and the Patrick Norton. They were invented the Java in 1995, and firstly it was not called as a Java. It was registered as the awk programming language, but due to some issues they were shifted the name to Java in 1995. After that, it was firstly managed by Sun Microsystem. After that, the Oracle, we all know that currently Oracle is managing the Java and releases its version. Although it is open source, but there is one organization which will manage this open source language. Java is, we can say, Java is a very popular language. Java is highly popular and dominated from the field till 2000 till present. We can find its application in almost every field. एवरी हर एक फील्ड में जावा यूज होता है. अगर बैंकिंग हो, रिटेल हो, इंफॉर्मेशन टेक्नोलॉजी हो, कोई भी फील्ड हो, हर फील्ड में जावा इज very much useful. If we are using Android TV, then also in a backend there is a Java programming language. If in banking sector, if you are going and making some transaction, behind that the Java software is there. If you are going to the retail shop and there is you are seeing a one software, then there is a, we can say that there is a, mostly softwares are developed in a Java. And in Android, we all know at backend the Java is useful. Although Kotlin is there, but Java is also there. So many popular applications like Netflix, Twitter are developed using Java. LinkedIn, financial services also Java is very useful to making the financial transaction. Like if we are thinking about the security, then the first name in comes in our mind, it's Java. No other programming language will be there. Only Java provides the high security. I cannot say that only Java, but like Java, very rare programming languages are there which provides the security. uh, Big data, Hadoop framework is there. Hadoop framework is totally developed in a Java. And we all know that big data is the technology which will handle lots of data. And lots of data and work with lot data. But to handle this much data, it is very difficult, and to efficiently handling the data is very difficult. So big data is so Java is also useful in a big data. Scientific research and community. So scientific a person who is doing research has to do lot of gone through the data, and बहुत सारे algorithms and वो सब बहुत सारे यूज करने पड़ते हैं रिसर्च कम्युनिटी को, बहुत सारे डेटा का इंटरप्रिटेशन करना पड़ता है, सब कुछ. तो उन सब चीज़ों में जावा सब चीज़ों के प्रोग्राम्स जावा में लिखे जाते हैं, क्योंकि जावा इज़ वेरी एफिशिएंट, सिक्योर, robust and very simple language. We can say that to understand the Java is very simple. So what are the features of the Java? Java is simple, secure. Or you all guys are aware about the features of Java. I'll give the overview of this. Java is a very simple language. To understand the Java is very simple. Its language is very simple. If we very I can say that very complex programming will become the easier in Java. If I'll tell you, to connect to one computer to another computer, we can connect through Java. There is a technology like RMI is there, remote method invocation in a Java. For network programming, Java is useful. So network programming is very difficult. DNS and other things are there, but if we are doing it in a Java, then it will be simple. Secure. Java is very secure programming language, I can say, because two there is a two there is a two two way, I can say, two not two way, but there is a JDK. Inside the JDK there is a JRE, and inside JRE there is a JVM. So the program will be executed in the JVM. JVM will not communicate with the OS of the computer. And the another main thing of the security of Java is the bytecode. We all aware about the bytecode. So when the program compiles, then it will convert it into the bytecode, and we can run that bytecode to anywhere. In We can run the bytecode anywhere in any on any computer. If we Java is also compiled and interpreted language. So after after converting the code into the bytecode, we do not need a Java compiler, or we don't need a JDK installed on a computer. We just need a JRE, which will run our program, just portable. What is the portability? So that in C or in C++, or like we say .NET. So .NET will only run on the Microsoft's window or a Microsoft computer. But in Java, it's not like that. It's open source. Or if we return a program on computer on a Windows computer, and after converting the bytecode, I am running that program on a Linux, then it will be easily it will be run. Java's compiler is independent, platform dependent, but Java's GRE is platform independent. There is a two difference between there. Object oriented. So Java is object oriented. We all know objects are very secured, and you guys are aware about the object oriented programming. Robust. Java is a very robust language. It has a very strong memory management. I can say that it does not allows pointer. Java doesn't allows pointer. So the memory leakage is very less in Java. Then it is not allowing a multi-level inheritance and other things which will cause a memory leakage. Java won't allow anything. मल्टी थ्रेडेड ये चीज सर्वर साइड में बहुत काम आती है. इफ वी आर रनिंग अ थ्रेड एंड वी नीड to run another thread, then Java is very much useful in that. Like if we are begin one transaction and parallelly we need to run another transaction, then Java is very useful in that. Architecture neutral. What is the meaning by architecture neutral? Architecture neutral is 32-bit and 64-bit operating system. In C, C++, or in any other programming language, there is a difference between the integer. If we talk about the data type, then integer data type would contain 4 bytes in 32-bit architecture, or in 64-bit architecture in Java, it consumes the same. But in another programming language, there is a difference between byte consumption in data types. So high performance. Java is very efficient programming language. If you write the lots of code in Java, and if you write a lots of heavy methods and another things, it will not be inefficient. I can say that it is very much efficient because of its bytecode functionality. After that, distributed. Java is distributed. I've talked about the RMI, remote method invocation. So we can run one program to one computer, second program to another computer through RMI. Java gives us the functionality of distributed programming, so that to improve the efficiency. अगर हमारी एक कंप्यूटर में इतनी स्पेस नहीं है कि वो हम अपना सारा प्रोग्राम रन कर सके इसी कंप्यूटर पे, तो हम अपना काम डिवाइड कर देंगे सब कंप्यूटर्स को. जैसे हम लेबर्स में करते हैं कि एक लेबर सारा काम नहीं कर सकता, तो हर लेबर को हम डिवाइड कर देंगे कि ये करे, ये करे. उस तरीके से जावा ने भी क्या किया, आरएमआई का यूज करके एक क्लास इसको रन करने को दे दिया, दूसरा क्लास इसको रन करने को दे दिया. देन इट विल कॉज द एफिशिएंसी इन रिजल्ट. Dynamic, we all know Java is a very dynamic programming language. What are the OOPS concepts? If I talk about my experience, जब मैं हर कंपनी में इंटरव्यू देने गई थी, पहला क्वेश्चन यही था, what are the OOPS concepts? They are very much crucial about this, because अगर इस चीज का आंसर सही से नहीं मिला, then your interview will be over. If you are a computer engineering student, then it is very much essential that you are aware about the OOPS concepts. And not aware, just you need to clear your concepts of OOPS, because it is very much important. OOPS concepts are in Java there are this much OOPS concepts. So if I talk about the inheritance, so inheritance, we all know that we can derive the we can derive the functionality of a parent into the child. And in polymorphism, there is a two types of polymorphism is there, like compile time polymorphism and runtime polymorphism. Compile time polymorphism can be achieved through method overloading, and runtime polymorphism can be achieved by method overriding. Abstraction is hiding all the data, hiding all the internal mechanism is called as abstraction. And encapsulation is wrapping up of the data. So this is the theoretical part of the OOPS concept. But if I talk about myself, तो जब मेरे एक इंटरव्यू में ऐसा क्वेश्चन आया था दैट इस रूम के सराउंडिंग जो कोई भी चीज हो, जो कोई भी ऑब्जेक्ट दिखे, उसको मुझे OOPS कंसेप्ट में उसको ट्रांसलेट करके दो. सो व्हाट आई टुक द AC, that how we can relate AC to this. So if I said that first of all, AC is the object, and AC was if it was the one company, AC was the company is not making only AC. Its parent company is also there. So I told like that कि उस कंपनी की पेरेंट कंपनी है, तो वो उसका चाइल्ड हुआ और वो उसका फीचर्स वो डिराइव करता है. Polymorphism is like AC is not working for cooling up the room only. It is also some ACs like they sometimes it is like working as a heater, or sometimes it is working as a AC. So they are the two functionality at a time. So after that abstraction, you cannot see the internal mechanism of the AC, that how the AC is working and how the other how the internal mechanism is working and how the other things are going on. So encapsulation is, there is a wrapper over the AC, so you cannot see the internal details. So same thing, abstraction and encapsulation are same like that. After that, JDBC. So these are the core concepts of Java which I talked about. But the main thing is the DB in every programming language. If you are dealing correctly with DB, then the programming language is very much on a high point. But that programming language is not correctly working with the DB, then it will not work. So in Java, to connect the database, there is a one API, Java Database Connectivity. What is JDBC? So JDBC is an application programming interface used to connect Java application with the database. There are lots of, I can say that JDBC is work with the drivers in Java. So there is a 4 types of driver in Java. 4 different types of Java. So before JDBC, there was one technology that was using for database connectivity, but it was not that much efficient. After that, the JDBC invokes. The JDBC, there are various types of database such as Oracle, MS Access, MySQL, and SQL Server. So how the Java knows that how which database it is and how I have to connect to that database, and how I need to, because every database syntax is different. If I talk about Oracle, if I talk about MySQL, and the syntax of select statement is even different. So if we write in a Java, so if we are writing any query into the Java, so it will send to the DB through JDBC, and after that it will retrieve the result. JDBC consists of classes and methods that are already written by the other people to connect, read, write, and store data in the database. This is the architecture of a JDBC. So I have talked about the JDBC API and JDBC drivers. So let's first thing is application. So application is like our JSP page, our JSP page, servlet page, our Java page, and applet. Applet is like for using for enterprise application in Java. So there are 3 types of application. I forgot to tell you that one is the J2EE enterprise application and mobile application. In even currently Java card in a chips, Java is using in chips programming. There is a use of a Java. So it will call the JDBC API, and JDBC API will call the JDBC driver. So JDBC driver, there are 4 types of driver I have talked. That one is the first driver before JDBC, before ODBC driver. Before ODBC driver, there was a driver which was partially written in a C language or a C or C++ language. So it was causing a memory leakage. That's why after that the Sun microsystem comes with the ODBC driver. So which was fully written in a Java. So it will connect with the database, different database, SQL Server, Oracle, or any other database you have. SQL Server syntax is different, Oracle syntax is the different, and other. This was the main disadvantage of the JDBC, that if I have the connection with the SQL database and I have written the programming through SQL in by SQL, I have written the programming in by keeping in mind SQL. So I can't change. If I need to change the SQL, then I have to change all the queries and other things throughout the program. So it was very difficult. Then so it was the disadvantage of the JDBC. और उसके बाद जावा एमवीसी. Java MVC, JSP Servlet is not the Java MVC. There was before Java MVC. If we think about that, if we are not using Java MVC, then what will happen? There is a lots of code will be there into the servlet. What is the servlet and what is JSP? JSP is the view part, like our HTML page, which is which we can see into the browser screen. It is the JSP page, and JSP page will call the servlet, which request the page to the servlet, and servlet will call the model class. This is the cycle, and the model class will communicate with the database. So JSP page, if we use only JSP and only servlet, तो क्या होगा? अगर हम सिर्फ JSP और सर्वलेट का यूज करते हैं तो फिर सब कोड सर्वलेट में लिख देंगे, तो क्या होगा? एवरीथिंग विल बी स्कैटर्ड. And we cannot, if we are doing the programming, then it's okay, we'll find in any way. But in company it is not like that. If I am doing any code, after 10 days or after 15 days, that code will be seen by another person, or he or she can edit that code. So he or she should understand that what I have written and what needs to be changed in this code. So for that understanding, we need a proper structure, who is understood by anyone. Like for that, we are putting a comment into the page that any other person can understand that what is this method used for, or what is the variable, what is the use of this variable, or what is the use of this method. After that, JSP will request the servlet page, servlet will request the model page, and model will communicate with the database, and database will execute the query and give the result to the model class, and model class will transfer that result to servlet, and after that result will be shown to the JSP page. A simple example is a login. If I am entering my username and password, then my username and password will gone to the controller. Servlet will accept that username and password, which is transferred by the JSP page. He will set that data into the model class and transfer that data into model class to perform the operations on that. So then model class will execute the business logic that needs to execute, like select star from user table where username is this and password is this. If the database execute that query and transfer and retrieve the result, that if that result will be true or false, whatever result, it will transfer to controller, and according to that true or false result, the mechanism what the action needs to be performed, which will perform into the servlet, and JSP page will will not come after that. If I have transferred the message that your username and password is incorrect, then it will transfer to GSP page, and it will be shown over there that your username and password is incorrect. So, or if the correct, then it will redirect to the another page of that application. Then if the Java MVC was so good and JDBC was so good, then why we need a framework? What is the use of a framework? So Java MVC was working very fine and very perfect, but the thing is like बहुत सारा कोडिंग करना पड़ता है, and the reusability of that code will be decreased. So the developer cannot put his attention to the invention of anything. He just need to write. If I talk about a simple login code, then if I write a simple login code, then every JSP page will contain the HTML code. It will call the servlet. The lots of logic is written into the servlet, and lots of business logic is written into the model class. So it was very much difficult for everyone to do this kind of hectic thing. If we are developing a small application, then it would be fine, but the application is very big, so then what to do? So there is the need of a framework, but we can use MVC structure for developing application. Framework is not necessary. The only thing is that will consume more time. Developer will consume more time to develop an application. So if we develop an application and after that I have the change, because in software industry, if you are releasing any version, after that the changes are very frequent. Like I have developed one thing today, tomorrow I have to add on something from in this, or day after tomorrow I need to remove some features which I have given, because client doesn't want. Client will not see that it is client will not see that we have put the lots of effort in this, but he needs, I don't need this feature, just remove it, or I need this feature, just add it. So at that time, if we are using Java MVC structure, then it is very much difficult to to change in the code or to remove the existing functionality by affecting other application. If I talk about, अगर हम एक लॉगिन की स्क्रीन में चेंज कर रहे हैं, तो रजिस्ट्रेशन में चेंज नहीं आना चाहिए. मतलब लाइक व्यू की स्क्रीन में चेंज नहीं आना चाहिए, सिर्फ हम लॉगिन की स्क्रीन में ही हमें चेंज करना पड़ेगा, तो ही वो परफेक्ट प्रोग्रामिंग है. अगर ऐसा नहीं है, देन वी आर लैकिंग इन समथिंग. Frameworks is developed keeping in mind the principles of OOPS, especially abstraction and various design patterns. What is our main motto for developing any application? Clients see only results, and if we see, then there is a lots of code and there is a lots of efforts behind that only one screen. It is there. Okay, so client will not understand that how much efforts are there and what are the functionality is going on the backend. We do not need to disclose that. So the current frameworks of Java, Hibernate, Spring are working on that, are on a same mechanism. And if like I need to, what are the routine tasks of the application? Like if I talk about the e-commerce website, then a client, if I have to put one product, I have to add a one product into the existing products. Then I should have the admin screen for that to add a product. Okay, so there is फिर ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि एक प्रोडक्ट ऐड करने के चक्कर में सारी एप्लीकेशंस हिल गई. So it should not like that. The structure should be proper, and it can be come through the framework by that. एंड अगर हम जावा एमवीसी यूज करते हैं तो वैलिडेशंस के लिए हमें खुद करनी पड़ेगी. देयर इज नो फंक्शनैलिटी ऑफ द वैलिडेशन, बट इफ वी आर यूजिंग एनी फ्रेमवर्क or any Spring framework or anything, then we have the facility of the validation. Reduces the development time and maintenance of the application. It is the main advantage why the frameworks are developed, because development efforts, if you are developing for a more time, then the employer should pay you more. If you are working for 9 hours, then employer will pay you for 9 hours. But if your effort will be at 6 hours, then employer will be pay you 6 hours. So it is the main point that developers effort should be reduced, so he or she can put the attention to any other thing. And maintenance of the application, as I mentioned, मेंटेनेंस ऑफ द एप्लीकेशन इज कोई चीज करने के लिए दूसरी चीज नहीं हिलनी चाहिए. दिस इज द मेन पॉइंट. अगर हम एक चीज ऐड कर रहे हैं सॉफ्टवेयर में, उसकी वजह से दूसरी फंक्शनैलिटी बंद नहीं होनी चाहिए. सो लेट्स टॉक अबाउट द हाइबरनेट. व्हाट इज हाइबरनेट? When in early 2000 or 2001s, when Java was introduced, at that time, very much inventions and very much research were going on frameworks. Strut, Hibernate, and Spring was come after 2005. So before 2005, 2006, there was a research going on a Hibernate and a Strut. Hibernate was the research on a Hibernate was succeed in a 2003. Or early 2003s, and after that Hibernate comes into the market and it reduces the efforts of the developers. But the research with the Strut was going on. So after the Hibernate, Strut came into the market because there was lots of issues in a Strut which was not resolved. So people were using other people were using the Strut, but the main, I can say that this main problems was there into the Strut framework. Hibernate is very much, I can say, not old, but very first framework of a Java, which was a very much not first, but first stable framework of a Java. Hibernate is an open source, lightweighted, and ORM tool. Now, what is the ORM tool? ORM tool is Object Relational Mapping. It is the technique for converting the data between relational database and object-oriented programming languages. So, I have my model class. If you guys are aware about the bean class or a model class, whatever, which is there in Java. So there should be a direct connection between my model class and my database. I need to convert my model class into model class to, I need to insert my row into the database. If I am using Java MVC, then I need to then I need to write a query that insert into this table where values is this. But if I am using Hibernate, I just need to write one line, which is session.save, and where my bean object will be passed over there. This, and for that model class we need to connect that model class into the hibernate.cfg xml. Hibernate cfg xml is the core heart part of the Hibernate, which is core heart part of the Hibernate, which manages whole Hibernate application. The all dilets are declared in hibernate.cfg xml, and all SQL dilets and all the model class are declared that the Hibernate CFG file will connect to the database directly. Hibernate is a Java framework that simplifies the development of Java application to interact with the database. So as I talked that before Hibernate, I need to write a query that insert into this table, and after that the result, after that that query will be executed. It will executed into the SQL, and SQL will return the result. That result will transfer to this MVC application. But the main advantage, what is the advantage of Hibernate? We can do that, we can write that insert query. We do not need to write a session.save. But today, if suppose today I am using the SQL database, and I have my mind that I need to use a Oracle database. I need to migrate my database. So if we are using the MVC structure, then we need to write a query. We need to change all the queries that are in our project. We need to change all the entire application. पर अगर हम हाइबरनेट का यूज करते हैं तो क्या होगा? अगर हम हाइबरनेट का यूज करते हैं, then we just need to change a one line which is there in hibernate.cfg xml. That is to change the drivers mentioned in hibernate.cfg xml. We just need to change the driver, dialect, and some 2-3 lines are there which we need to change. The only change is this. After that, there is the Hibernate queries. That implementation include tasks like writing a query for CRUD operation or establishing a connection with the database. So we can perform the CRUD operations very easily through Hibernate. This is the Hibernate architecture. This is the Hibernate architecture, where first is the application part, after that the persistent object, and after that the Hibernate where the mapping file is there, configuration file is there, and after that there is a database. So I mentioned the one file, that hibernate.cfg.xml. That is the mapping, that is the configuration file of the Hibernate, which you can see in the middle of image, configuration file, which will connect the application to the database. And the mapping file is before there is a two updation in a Hibernate. First one was before, when early Hibernate was introduced, the XML structure was used. So in XML structure, if we are creating a main class, then also we need to create a XML file. So we need to create a 2 files on that time. But after the invention, there is a model class, and annotations were introduced. So we do not need to create a mapping file for Hibernate mapping file. We just need to declare a annotation, that at the rate, then column name, and in that we just need to declare a column name. And after that it will communicate with the database. This is the another structure of the Hibernate. Java application, persistent object is nothing but our model class. session factories, transaction factory, these are the core objects defined by the Hibernate. Session, transaction. First, session, what is session factory? So session factory is the session, from the session factory we can retrieve the session, and from the session we can retrieve the transaction. If I अगर हम फ्लिपकार्ट का यूज करते हैं, फ्लिपकार्ट और अमेजोन एनी एप्लीकेशन, देन बहुत सारे यूजर्स एक साथ ट्रांजैक्शन करते हैं, तो हर एक यूजर का एक ट्रांजैक्शन क्रिएट होता है और वो एक डिफरेंट पार्ट में होता है. मतलब वो ट्रांजैक्शन स्टार्ट होता है और वहीं पे क्लोज हो जाता है. वो दूसरे यूजर के ट्रांजैक्शन को अफेक्ट नहीं करना चाहिए. This is the main functionality which is not there in core applications like Java MVC and JDBC. अगर मेरी previous company में ऐसा हुआ था that मैंने बिजनेस लॉजिक, जहां पर हम बिजनेस लॉजिक लिखते हैं उस मेथड्स में, बहुत सारी मेथड्स में किसी डेवलपर ने बहुत सारे ट्रांजैक्शन को क्लोज नहीं किया था, तो पूरी एप्लीकेशन उस वजह से क्रैश हो गई. इट वाज रनिंग परफेक्ट ऑन अ लोकल. वी कैन नॉट आइडेंटिफाई दैट व्हाट इज द प्रॉब्लम एंड व्हाट द प्रॉब्लम विल अकर इन अ फ्यूचर ड्यू टू दिस थिंग, because no one can understand this. It is a very server level problem. So उसके बाद जब एप्लीकेशन लाइव गई, it was running, there are 4 or 5 environment where the applications are tested. First is the local environment. After that 3 environments are there before going live. So on every environment the application was running perfect. So because only one person is testing on that environment. पर जब एप्लीकेशन लाइव गई तो पूरी एप्लीकेशन क्रैश हो गई. Then after that we found out that there are many transactions which are not closed in this method. So we need to create a transaction, and after that we need to close that transaction in a catch method or in any way after your execution with the DB is completed. SQL. SQL, Hibernate uses SQL, which makes its database independent. There are four methods for insertion. There are 4 methods I told: session.save, and there are 4. We can perform the CRUD operation in a 4. We can perform the CRUD operation in a session.save, session.update, session.delete, and session.query.list. But this 4 was not enough for many people. So they have come up with the SQL. SQL is an object-oriented query language similar to SQL. If you can see here that there is a query written from student. Now you have think that select star from a student. Why it is written from student over here? So it is basically an SQL. So from student, where student is a model name, and from this is the syntax of the SQL, where create query, select instead of select star from, that is only we need to write the from student. It is not a database dependent or database dependent if we are using SQL, or if we are using the MS SQL, which is a Microsoft SQL, MS SQL, Microsoft Server SQL, or a Oracle. The syntax will be same. We do not need to change anything in this. And here query.list will retrieve all the data into the list method. Name query. So if we are writing a HQL, then there was the biggest disadvantage is that all the queries were scattered. If we need to find a query, then it is very much difficult for it is very much difficult for a developer to find any query or any method. So the concept was introduced like name query, which statistically define a query with a predefined unchangeable query string. They are validated when the session factor is created. As I told, that first session factor will be created, after that session will be created, and after that the transaction will begin. So here I have written the syntax of the name query. At named query, where the name is written, find stock by stock ID, and query is from stock S. S is the alias of the stock object. Stock is the model name, and this is the call a name query is written. Call a name queries, it will be called from the business logic or from the model class session dot get name query, and it will this set string method will set the string 7277, will replace the stock code. Here I have written colon and stock code, which it will then the query will become select star from stock, where stock code is equal to 7277. Hibernate caching. As we all know that caching is very much important in every application. If we are using a caching, then we can faster our performance of application. If we are if अगर कोई ट्रांजेक्शन बार बार हो रहा है, अगर कोई क्वेरी बार बार एग्जीक्यूट हो रही है, तो उसको इतना ही उसको डेटाबेस में हिट जाएगा और उतना ही रिजल्ट लेके आएगी, पर हर बार रिजल्ट सेम होगा, तो उस टाइम पे कैशिंग का यूज होता है. सो हाइबरनेट में बहुत सारे टाइप के कैशिंग होते हैं, बट द मेन इज फर्स्ट लेवल कैशिंग एंड सेकंड लेवल कैशिंग. इन फर्स्ट लेवल कैशिंग दैट इज इट इज अ डिफॉल्ट. हर क्वेरी जो सेशन ऑब्जेक्ट से एग्जीक्यूट होती है उसको फर्स्ट लेवल कैश से गुजरना पड़ता है. सेशन ऑब्जेक्ट में वो क्वेरी स्टोर होती है, सेकंड फर्स्ट लेवल कैश में वो क्वेरी स्टोर होती है. तो उसकी वजह से जब हम सेशन, जैसे ही सेशन ऑब्जेक्ट क्लोज होता है, हमें सेशन को ओपन करना पड़ता है और उसके बाद क्लोज करते हैं. तो जैसे ही सेशन ऑब्जेक्ट क्लोज होता है, उस टाइम पे फर्स्ट लेवल कैश डिस्ट्रॉय हो जाती है. और सेकेंड लेवल कैश इज ऑप्शनल कैश. तो उसमें हमें सिर्फ हमें और कुछ नहीं, पर उसको कॉल करना पड़ता है वो कैश को. तो उसकी स्पेसिफिक मेथड होती है जो उस कैश को कॉल करने के लिए. Hibernate OR mapping. So OR mapping is establish the relation between two DB tables as attribute in your model that allow you to easily navigate to associate in your model and criteria queries. There are three types of OR mapping in Hibernate: one-to-one, one-to-many, and many-to-many. One-to-one. If I talk about the example of one-to-one, then then a relation between a student and its address. A person and its address. A person has there is a possibility that person has a many address, but this possibility is very less. So एक person and एक address, and this is the one-to-one relationship. इसका असर कोई DB किसी मतलब हाइबरनेट के कोडिंग पे ही पड़ेगा. DB लेवल पे उसका कोई भी चेंज नहीं होगा. उसमें जो स्ट्रक्चर हम डिफाइन करते हैं नॉर्मलाइजेशन में, वैसा ही स्ट्रक्चर रहेगा. वन टू मैनी इज एक पर्सन के बहुत सारे मोबाइल फोन्स है, देन इट इज द वन टू मैनी. एंड मैनी टू मैनी इज लाइक एक बहुत सारे पर्सन्स एंड बहुत सारी चीजें. मतलब एक बहुत सारे पर्सन्स है, उनके पास बहुत सारे व्हीकल हो सकते हैं. मतलब एक पर्सन के पास बहुत सारे व्हीकल्स भी हो सकते हैं और बहुत सारे पर्सन के पास बहुत सारे व्हीकल्स भी हो सकते हैं. Now, after that, there are many disadvantages of the Hibernate framework. So the Spring were introduced in after 2005. So what were the disadvantages? Were like there is no difference between the business logic between these three layers. There is a lot of dependency in Hibernate framework. अगर मैं बात करूं तो हाइबरनेट में अगर एक चीज में एक क्वेरीज का सॉल्यूशन तो मिल गया कि मतलब डीबी का एक्सेस, डीबी अगर चेंज होता है तो हमें हमें अगर बहुत सारी क्वेरीज चेंज नहीं करनी पड़ेगी, पर ऐसी बहुत सारी चीजें हैं जो हम हाइबरनेट में ओवरकम नहीं कर पाए, उसकी वजह से स्प्रिंग आया. स्प्रिंग इज ऑल्सो वेरी पावरफुल एंड लाइट वेटेड फ्रेमवर्क, एंड वो स्प्रिंग फोकस ऑन मेनली स्पीड, सिंप्लिसिटी एंड प्रोडक्टिविटी. स्प्रिंग के साथ हम और हाइबरनेट और स्ट्रट को भी कंबाइन कर सकते हैं. हम स्प्रिंग और हाइबरनेट का एक प्रोजेक्ट बना सकते हैं, स्ट्रट और स्प्रिंग का भी एक प्रोजेक्ट बना सकते हैं. वैसे अदर प्रोजेक्ट्स के अदर फ्रेमवर्क के साथ भी हम स्प्रिंग को कोलैबोरेट कर सकते हैं. स्प्रिंग 3 लॉजिक में 3 लेयर्स में डिवाइड किया जाता है. स्प्रिंग में प्रेजेंटेशन लेयर, बिजनेस लेयर एंड द डेटा एक्सेस लेयर. अगर हम यूआई में चेंज कर रहे हैं तो बिजनेस लॉजिक में चेंज नहीं आना चाहिए. अगर हम बिजनेस लॉजिक में चेंज कर रहे हैं तो व्यू लेयर में चेंज नहीं आना चाहिए. और अगर हम डेटा किसी भी लेयर में चेंज कर रहे हैं तो उसकी वजह से किसी भी लेयर में चेंज नहीं आना चाहिए. इट वॉज द मेन फोकस एरिया ऑफ द स्प्रिंग. So for that, tightly couple and loosely couple, if you guys are aware about the tightly couple and loosely couple, अगर किसी पे डिपेंडेंसी जितनी कम हो प्रोग्रामिंग में उतना ज्यादा अच्छा होता है. वो जैसे जितनी डिपेंडेंसी कम होती है उसको लूजली कपल्ड बोलते हैं, और जितनी इंटरनल डिपेंडेंसी ज्यादा होती है उसको टाइटली कपल्ड बोलते हैं. जितनी टाइटली कपल्ड जितना कम हो उतना बेहतर है. And inversion of control. So inversion of control is like we can taking control away from the class and giving it to the Spring framework. किसी भी चीज का कंट्रोल क्लास के पास नहीं होना चाहिए, कि मतलब उसमें डिपेंडेंसी नहीं होनी चाहिए किसी भी चीज में. तो हम सब चीज को स्प्रिंग को दे देते हैं, जिसकी वजह से वो सबको कॉन्फ़िगर करती है, मैनेज करती है. ये इन्वर्जन ऑफ कंट्रोल का एक एग्जांपल है. दिस इज नॉट मच इनफ फॉर इन्वर्जन ऑफ कंट्रोल. इट इज अ वेरी वाइड टॉपिक, बट ड्यू टू द time effect, due to the less time, I cannot go in this. So we just before inversion of control, we just need a constructor public store where this dot item is equal to item. But if we are implementing inversion of control, then we will pass this object. We can achieve in many way. We can achieve the inversion of control in a many way, but this is the one way of achieving the inversion of control. Any question?
No questions, ma'am.
Okay, then should we continue or should I go further?
Okay, ma'am. You can conclude the session.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Everyone.
Thank you, Maitri ma'am.
Yeah. Thank you, Parallel University, for giving me this opportunity. And thank you, Himani ma'am.
Okay. Thank you, Maitri ma'am, to you also for enlightening your knowledge with us and giving your valuable time to us. Hope so this your informative session will help the students in the future studies. So thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay.